Hello everyone, welcome to the Power of Ratings and Review webinar. We are very glad to have you here today. I am Delphine Benedict, I'm the Marketing Director of Territory Influence, and today we are going to present you the Power of Ratings and Review with Raphael Schwartz, Managing Director of Territory Influence, so the leading influencer marketing agency offering ratings and review campaigns in Europe. Christian Driehaus, the co-founder of GOMINGA, a company that enables brands to manage reviews and questions across international platforms such as Amazon and Google. Holger Holzapfel, the head of media of BSH, so a Bosch Group company, who unfortunately is not here with us today, so not in live, but has shared his testimonial with a video that Christian is going to share with you during his section. So we are very glad to have you today. The agenda is going to start with why are online ratings and review important for brands and retailers. This will be the opportunity to share with you the first results and learnings of our international survey. So a questionnaire we have run in 7 markets across Europe, late August 2020, so a very fresh survey. We have collected over 41K consumer insights, and they came from France, UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, Poland, and Hungary. So Raphael is going to present you that part and several other researches. Then we are going to go into the details on how to generate and manage ratings and review online with a mixture of tips from Territory Influence and GOMINGA with the help of concrete brand case studies and client testimonials. Finally, we will do a wrap-up so you can leave that session with the key facts and figures in mind. And finally, we will have a live Q&A session, so please do ask your questions in the Q&A section, so on Microsoft Teams, to not forget about them, so you can really use that section throughout the webinar. We will take approximately 10 minutes to review all of them and to answer all of them, so that will be our discussion time after our presentation. Also, for your information, this webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to rewatch the webinar, also to share it with your colleagues if they are missing today. So this will be shared very shortly with you per email. Before starting, I put into the chat, so into the Q&A section that you can use at any time, a link to a quick poll to actually understand your opinion about the importance of ratings and reviews. So why, according to you, they are important for brands and retailers. So please do click here and answer our quick poll. It really takes 2 seconds. There are 5 different options, and you will see afterwards some answer from big CEOs from big companies, big corporations. So Raphael will do a quick analysis and will compare your responses with them to see if ratings and reviews are best for conversion, for brand building, for maybe pricing, SEO, I don't know. You also have other responses, so you can submit different other type of responses. So we will also be happy to check on those thoughts and maybe, yes, compare them with those CEOs and other survey consumer insights we've collected. So let's take still a few seconds so you have time to complete the quick poll. I see some answers coming. I already see that sales conversion is a big topic. Let's maybe wait for still 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then Raphael can take over the presentation.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Delphine, for the introduction. So let's actually start with a definition of ratings and reviews, because it's, in our point of view, really testimonials by consumers who have either bought the product or experienced the product otherwise, and who are writing their reviews on the digital platform. So it could be a brand website, it could be, an e-commerce shop, could be a social media site, or a dedicated product comparison or service comparison website. So we will not only talk about reviews on Amazon, but we will also talk about Google, about social media and brand websites. And we're not only talking about people who've actually purchased the product on Amazon, but also people who made an experience with your product or service and are sharing that experience online. So let's start with actually asking why are consumers actually writing reviews in the first place? So it's very interesting that they really do it because they want to help others make better decisions about brands and services. So that's the major factor that leads them to write a review. And the majority of them, over 93%, write actually both negative and positive reviews. So it's not something that you only do if you're dissatisfied or if you're super happy with a service or a product, but it's actually something which is a habit for both. And a lot of consumers, to be specific, 58% of them are sharing reviews even on a weekly or monthly basis. So it's a really a big habit for a lot of people that are very active online. So why are online reviews so important for brands and companies? And you've answered that question already, and most of you have agreed that it's key for driving sales. Well, interesting enough, for CEOs, the major aspect for these reviews is actually for brand building. So ratings reviews, they believe the rating reviews have a direct impact on brand perception, on top of sales, lead generation, and conversion. And actually, it's, I think, fair to point out that sales are impacted in two ways. So most online platforms do include ratings and reviews in their search algorithm. So brands with more and better reviews will be more visible. So that's impacting sales. And secondly, we know, and we're going to share that also in our research, that shoppers are reviewing both, again, the quantity and the ratings before they actually make a purchase, before they click on the buy button. So indeed, ratings and reviews have a direct impact on sales, and that's also the outcome of a research that Bazaar Voice did some time ago, where they've seen a direct correlation between the number of reviews and the amount of sales you do online. So they wanted to understand the correlation between the review quantity and online sales, and in their study they found that even one review is actually having an impact, and basically the more the better. And also, most of our clients confirm that, and then confirm these results, and hence target a range between kind of 50 and 80 reviews for each one of their SKUs and for their key online channels, and that's pretty much in line with those results in terms of how the quantity of reviews driving sales. So wait a second, you might ask, well, but isn't that all yesterday's news, and didn't COVID-19 totally change the entire picture on e-commerce, on online sales? Well, actually, if anything, ratings and reviews are more important now than before, because people spend significantly more time online, and a lot of consumers are worried and are kind of unsecure, and therefore they need reassurance. And ratings and reviews is just that. It's a reassurance that you are purchasing the right service, that you're purchasing the right product. So if anything, ratings and reviews are even more important now in what we call the recovery society, the COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 society we are in right now, than it was before. So if by the way, you're interested more in understanding the impact of COVID-19 on marketing and e-commerce, we've run a dedicated webinar for that. So you can drop us a note. I'm very happy to share details on what we call the recovery society. But if you focus on ratings and reviews, we see that consumers are really paying much more attention to ratings and reviews than before. So they are more cautious with their budget. They are concerned about the economy. They are concerned about their personal income. So hence they pay more attention to what they are purchasing, and they want to make sure they're purchasing the right thing. So they do look out for ratings and reviews even more than before. And people are not only shopping significantly online, more online actually since the pandemic, but they really will continue so because of health concerns that they have. So in fact, McKinsey found out that COVID-19 accelerated digital transformation in retail by about kind of 10 years. So kind of 10 years of innovation happened in the last 6 months. And we've also seen that in our research. So consumers are increasingly buying online, They prefer suppliers who digitize part or all of their shopping experience. And as a consequence of that, majority of consumers are reading reviews before they actually press the buy button. In fact, 88% of consumers are reading reviews before they make an online purchase. And it's not only online purchases that are impacted by reviews. 60% of consumers also check an online review before they actually purchase offline. So that's another very interesting finding of our research that I think Delphine is on the next chart. That is hopefully coming up right now. Yes. So very interesting to see that ratings reviews not only critical for online shopping, but consumers are also consulting reviews before they go in traditional retail and make a purchase there. So ratings reviews are really something that brands cannot neglect or also cannot counterbalance with promotional activities. So even at significant discounts or at periods of the year like we are entering now with significant promotional activities, consumers are still looking at reviews and still looking at the ratings of products and services before they make a shopping. So with the likes of Amazon Prime Day coming up, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, consumers will still check reviews and ratings before they make a purchase. So now there is a difference between the industries and service or product categories that you're in, but essentially ratings reviews are really super important for any industry and any product or any service. They are not limited anymore to just maybe travel or consumer electronics. Those are typical product categories and service categories that you would purchase online, but it's also increasingly becoming essential for beauty and personal care, for home care, for fashion and clothing, for DIY, or for food and beverage. So really important to understand that consumers across categories and across service areas are looking at reviews before they make a purchase. And it's really not enough to just monitor and manage reviews on Amazon. And I mentioned that in our definition, because consumers check out ratings and reviews actually more often on review platforms or on brand websites, on Google, and on social media than they actually do on e-commerce. So brands need a really kind of a holistic ratings and review strategy. They need to have a monitoring in place, and we'll talk about that. And Christian is also going to talk about that later on, how important it is to really manage and monitor ratings and reviews across the entire digital landscape, and not only just focus on Amazon. But first, we want to go back to the question why ratings and reviews are so important for business, and look at some of the fundamentals in consumer behavior. So first of all, consumers really trust ratings and reviews. So consumer trust the opinion and the recommendation of peers, of trusted friends, of family members, of other people, and this trust in products and services. They basically distrust products or services with a rating of less than 4 out of 5 stars. So that's one of the important findings of our research, is that there's really kind of a cliff when your service or your product has less than 4 out of 5 stars, that you will really suffer from a lack of trust that consumers put into your services and products. It's also quite remarkable to see that usually consumers select the brand with the highest amount of reviews, so also the quantity of reviews are important, and hence we really see ratings and reviews acting as a kind of a shortcut, a memory shortcut, or a kind of a shortcut to purchasing decisions in the consumer's mind and in the consumer's purchasing funnel. And talking about negative reviews, they can really hurt the brand online and offline, and really hinder sales, because it influences consumer purchase behaviors. And unfortunately, negative reviews are also stuck for quite a while in people's memory. So brands really need to pay attention to monitor those negative reviews and react to them. And when we speak about consumer reaction, it's really important that brands are responding to negative comments, that they are actually reacting to them. And consumers do expect brands to respond. So again, Christian and our friends from GOMINGA are going to present how they are helping brands to monitor and to react to negative reviews, and how they are helping customer service to actually make sure that they are able to reach out and engage consumers who had a negative experience, and ideally try and turn them into a positive experience again. But before we talk about monitoring and managing reviews, let's talk about how to generate positive reviews. And with that, I hand back to Delphine, who's going to talk about how to generate high quality ratings and reviews online.
Thank you, Raphael, and hi again, because I think you guys didn't see my face earlier, so now you can. Nice to meet you. So let's talk about how we can generate ratings and reviews now. So actually at Territory Influence, we have 3 different types of activation. We can either activate shoppers, so existing clients, or recruit influencers from scratch, or activate CRM members. So if we take on the first example, so the shopper, we have this super SHISEIDO case study, which happened last year during the Black Friday and Christmas sales period. So actually, that's a quite interesting case versus what we have just seen with Raphael. So the fact that users, consumers keep reading consumer reviews during those times with significant discounts, they still take the time to make correct product decisions, service decisions, so they keep checking on opinions online. So here for a fragrance brand, so quite a luxury brand, we had to generate 50 reviews per product page, actually displayed on 3 different e-commerce platforms, and started to identify within our consumer platforms who were existing clients, who actually had the fragrance at home, who had a recent experience and could share a sincere testimonial, sincere opinion online. So it was quite of a success. So we achieved the marketing objectives because of 4 different reasons. So first, we had a pretty intense survey on our consumer platform to identify the right person. So not only the existing clients, but also the ones who had a positive impression and who are super engaged, so willing to actually post a review online within a couple of days, because timing was pretty sensitive because of the Black Friday season we had to prepare. Also the briefing, because of those e-commerce platforms have super strong requirements to approve the submissions. We had to dialogue, brief the influencer, the client, on a day-to-day basis to really respect the rating and review guidelines and ensure the submissions. Also ensure authenticity with 0 payment, and really by insisting on please give your sincere opinion. So it was key to really select the right person and to have the right dialogue, the right briefing to make sure the process was a success. And finally, because timing was super key, we had to do those follow-ups again on a daily basis to make sure every day we had such amount of reviews on such dedicated e-commerce platform. So it was very chirurgical, and daily tracking was really mandatory. For the influencer recruitment, we decided to show you today the ESSITY case. It's a very interesting case because they have different brands, personal care, but also home brand cares, and because last year they launched a new digital consumer journey strategy and integrated the rating and review tool, they had lots of expectations, lots of requirements on that regards, especially because of SEO, but not only. They also had to enrich their product pages, they had to reassure, guide purchasing decisions, also collect consumer insights. So this is why we accelerated, we increased our activity with them last year and did 6 dedicated rating and review campaigns just for 1 market for 1 year and different brands. So here you can see Day Makeup, Nana, Lotus, Lotus Baby, OK, but also Tena. So today just wanted to focus on 2 specific brands. OK, because we had to support at the same time 3 different SKU, especially the home care innovation, OK Pratique, We had different type of objectives, so 50 reviews for the OK Original, OK Décor, and 100 for the very new product, so the OK Pratique, which lacked reviews because it was brand new. Here, what was super interesting is the fact that we activated two types of campaigns. So we activated 150 influencers from scratch. So we made them live a product experience. So we sent them a box, so we got them, we educated them. So we explained the different product usage, and we had different weeks of dialogue with them until they finally submit their reviews online on the different product pages, so on OK.fr. But we also, in parallel, to boost the amount of ratings and reviews generated, reactivated some old OK ambassadors, so influencers who were recruited for other campaigns for that brand, maybe some months ago or even years ago. So we reactivated them with newsletters. So we didn't send them new boxes because they already lived the experience and had a memory, a positive memory. So like the SHISEIDO, we identified the right person, the most engaged influencers, and we asked them to publish on specific product pages their sincere opinion to achieve that marketing objective. And as you can see on that slide, we actually exceeded the amount of 200 by 48 ratings and reviews. LOTUS, so a pretty similar case. Here what was different is the fact that we activated ratings and review for 3 different types of product categories, because LOTUS is not only tissues and toilet paper, but also diapers with LOTUS Baby. So here again, we had 150 to 250 reviews per product category. Those were aimed at being submitted on Lotus Hygiene or Lotus Baby.fr. And here we had the same type of campaigns, we only activated from scratch 150 influencers for the diapers, no reactivation because the product category was new. And we did the same operation for tissues and toilet paper. Again, as you see, the same keys to success worked because we exceeded by over 100 the number of reviews expected on such platforms. Here also what we could highlight is the fact that diapers was super niche because we had different sizes to activate, different product sizes, different baby ages to identify. So again, selection, the methodology of targeting was very key. So you need to know well your database before activation to allow the right experience and then the appropriate reviews on your product pages. The client, so Alix Arnaud, our digital content manager at ESSITY, was pretty happy. So she said that ratings and review campaigns were a success because not only to work the SEO part, but it also allows them to understand their consumer, their commitment, their brand satisfaction, also to quantify them. It also enabled them to collect a lot of content, picture, quotes, and also reuse them into their communication. So this part is actually very cool for the consumer endorsement. So actually ESSITY is fond of leveraging those contents into their media plan. So they are using it in TV spot, packaging, social media, display. So really from print to web, they are used to leverage the 96% recommend or the 9 out of 10 women recommend everywhere to really have a brand slate. So ratings and review can be really seen as not only a testimonial on the product page, but really reused to humanize, to bring some credits to a classic brand message out there. We have plenty of other examples. We have selected 3 specifically, so Raphael is going to share them with you super shortly. Let's start with CAUDALIE.
So yeah, CAUDALIE is an interesting case because it also shows that we are able to activate ratings and reviews at scale. So for CAUDALIE, a cosmetics brand, a beauty care brand, it was important to really activate a European plan across 5 countries and really drive and boost online recommendations quickly. So we were really able to generate over 1,700 reviews on e-commerce, on top of content on social media and on a lot of both about the product. The second case I want to quickly show is for KitchenAid, which is kind of the opposite. So they went more for an activation of micro-influencers, so people with higher amount of followers on social media, and they wanted to generate content both on social media as well as e-commerce. So here we were really able to look for very niche target groups, so kind of health gurus, you know, foodies, you know, chefs, kind of hobby chefs or even professional chefs. And we were able to activate them to, you know, produce great content pieces online, videos and posts on Instagram, but also write reviews on e-commerce. And the third case I'd like to share with you is from Samsung, from consumer electronics, to really illustrate how impactful ratings and reviews can be to drive sales. So I know it's a small chart, but on the right you can basically see during the period of time when we activated our ratings and reviews that the rank on Amazon, so that the sales rank on Amazon of that product was really boosted, and it maintained at a very high velocity after we accomplished our target ratings and reviews. So just 3 examples again of how you can activate different type of influencers to write reviews on social media, but also on e-commerce, and how that impacts sales in the short and long term.
Thanks, Rafael. To end that section about how to generate ratings and reviews, a last case will be Nestlé, to see how we can activate not only client or influencer, but CRM members, club ambassadors. So here in France, since 2016 actually, we have this platform on croquonlavie.fr, which aims at activating throughout the year consumers from the Nestlé community to accomplish specific missions. So it can be content on social media, word of mouth, completing a survey to collect insights, but also enriching product pages on the platform, so on the CRM website, where all the products from the Nestlé brands are listed, and where consumers can at any time share their testimonials. So we really build a strong annual plan where every month consumers from different categories, different brands can really be activated and can share their testimonials based on real life product experiences after having done a dialogue with the brand and having received specific product education to really understand the different uses, the how to consume, when to consume, and so on. So after several years of activation, the group have actually collected over 40,000 consumer reviews, so that's a huge number, and really boosted their SEO, also helped in terms of conversion, so in terms of sales. So the keys to success here, to conclude with that generation part, was data qualification. So I think you have understood that selection is really key, is really mandatory to enable those product reviews. So you need to have a target fit, you need to identify the most engaged, and to make sure they have the appropriate experience to be able to share their testimonial on the right, in the right places. The mission, so they have different call to actions. We need to also follow them up to make sure traffic and then mission is accomplished. Product education, again, to ensure the testimonial is relevant, that your key features, your key product items are explained or shared in terms, again, of experience and testimonial. Authenticity, so that will be our recommendation, our number 1 recommendation. Do not pay, do not incentive your consumers. If you want to have this trust we were talking about earlier with Rafael in our survey, if you want your reviews to have an impact, to convert, you need to have this sincere approach. So never pay, never say to your consumer, please do talk about that, or please say that. You need to ensure that experience is correct, yes, but never guide them too much, so they have this freedom to speak and to share their experience with their own words. And leveraging, so Nestlé, like ESSITY, is also a fan of reusing contents within media content, TV, digital, print, packaging. So again, these brand seals are great to humanize communication, so do not hesitate to reuse, leverage them at any time. Let's talk now about how to manage, how to generate. You can activate clients, you can activate or reactivate influencer, you can work with your CRM database. So let's see after submissions, after publications, what to do with ratings and review with Christian and Gominga.
Well, thank you very much, Delphine. So what do you do once you have the reviews, either through campaigns or through the normal user out there? What can you do with them? And this is really where we say you as a decision maker, as a manager within the company for your brand, this is now your step. And first of all, you can learn so much from your customer feedback. So it's really about business intelligence. If you look at Amazon, if you look at Google, if you look at any other large e-tailer, e-commerce marketplace platform, etc., there are so many reviews and ratings out there, and it's like data mining, right? So for business intelligence, it's really to learn about what does the customer, the consumer say about your product, your service, your brand. What questions do they have? What do they not understand? What do they like? What do they dislike? And also don't forget, especially for product reviews on marketplaces such as Amazon, when you analyze product reviews, you can also look at your competitors' reviews and learn what do they do better. What do the user like better than for your brand products or services? So this really is to capture all the reviews and questions and see what's driving feedback, and do use that data to empower your teams. And if you go on, it's really about detecting the insights. So today with AI, with artificial intelligence, you really can analyze big data in detail. And here the quote is from Northwestern University in Chicago. They did a big research study, and they found that in addition to traditional market research, if you analyze reviews and ratings, you find out almost as much or even more by doing traditional market research. And what we always say is the advantage of analyzing the reviews and ratings is you can do it immediately. Yeah, you have it instantaneously. When you use software, you don't need to spend months and months of conducting interviews, etc. But you can simply analyze your existing reviews at any point in time, and you can see what the customer like and dislike. And further, you can really, again, use the AI to uncover the root causes. I guess most of you have heard about sentiment analysis, aspect-based sentiment analysis. So you can really dive deep and dig out what are the root causes to fully understand what does a customer or the user like or not. And if you just look at a normal regular review, for example, I mean, within a review text, within one review text, there's so much information, because sometimes the customer says, oh, this, for example, this laptop has a great display, but the battery life is really poor. So there are really nuances within those review texts that are great business intelligence for you as a decision maker. So how can you use that to improve your products or services? Well, it's fairly simple in a way, because there are tons of reviews out there. There's user feedback also in Q&A. So there is a lot of big data. And when you talk about product reviews, it's even structured data, because you can always group on product variations, on product category level, on brand level, on regions, etc., to really analyze and see what's driving the consumer. And as I said before, you can do that for existing products, your own products, your competitor products, but also don't forget adjacent market segments. Because if you are in the beauty segment, why not look at DIY and consumer electronics just to understand how are brands managing that? How are brands analyzing the data and how do they improve their products accordingly. So you can use that for either new product development, entering new markets, new target groups, or simply optimizing what you already have. And that results in more revenues, better margins, and especially what I find most important, more customer centricity, and that obviously helps your brand reputation. Now, besides analyzing product reviews, what is equally important, and that's also what the study said earlier, what Raphael pointed out, is that the user, the consumer out there in the digital world, they expect you as a company, as a brand, to respond. They expect you to respond to reviews and to questions. And in this example here, you see for location reviews, almost 90% of the consumer, they read a business's response to reviews. So this really exemplifies how important it is for you to manage those reviews, to interact with your consumer, to take them serious, and to really engage. And I mean, the right-hand side, sorry, it is a German screenshot, but that's a Google example. I guess everybody knows that from your own consumer behavior. When you look up a store location on Google, if you look up the opening hours, you also look at the reviews. And here you see that a consumer, a user, is complaining about the quality, about the services in the store. And then the brand or the owner, the store owner, responds and says, hey, thank you for your feedback. We're sorry about that. We would like to learn more about your complaint, etc. So this really is important, that you engage with your customer, be it on Google, be it on any other platform. And similar, the next example is for product reviews. There's similar studies and statistics. They say that, again, the user expects you to respond. And this example here is from Amazon UK, where a customer has a question regarding a consumer electronic product. And again, it is so important that the brand addresses this question and answers and explains how to fix this to the wall in this example. And I mean, there are so many examples out there from any industry, basically, and we see that from our customers as well, that there is often a need out there that the user, that the consumer doesn't understand fully how to use a product or what to expect. And now this is really your role as a brand, as a manufacturer, to step in here and to engage with the customer. Right, so just a few examples here of customer success stories, as we say. So this one here is for a review. So the customer called Frank here in 2019, he writes a negative review on this camera. The brand reacts quickly, even with that manufacturer badge, as you can use on Amazon. And then the customer reacts again and says, hey, thank you, it's great customer support. And the customer even changes the star rating on Amazon. So this is really what you want to have as a brand. You engage with the consumer, they react, they say thanks, it's great, great customer service, and they even improve the star rating. And similarly, on the next slide, an example for a question. So again, this was this question, how do you fit that TV mount on the wall? And the brand, in this case, LG Electronics, they react, they explain how to do it. And again, the customer comes back and says, hey, give this man a rise. This is what I call customer service. So that's like the perfect reaction you want to have as a brand. Happy customer. And even what you shouldn't forget, this is not only this one customer, but now every other user afterwards that looks at this question and sees, okay, the brand reacts, the customer says, thanks you. That's even a that even multiplies the positive reaction here. Right. So before I quickly hand over to Holger Holzapfel of BSH with his video message, just quickly what we do at Gominga. So we help you as a company, as our client, to manage all those reviews and Q&A across location, product, app, and shop platforms. And as I said, help you to learn about your customer feedback, turn review insights into action, and engage with your consumer. And now Holger has a small video message for you. Unfortunately, he can't be here now due to technical problems, but let's see what he says. I can't hear him.
So, Christian, you have to answer all the questions at the end. Sorry for that. My name is Holger Holzapfel, Head of Media for BSH. I'm responsible for 4 major brands in Germany. You might know them: Bosch, Siemens, NESTLE, Gaggenau. And we have at the moment a situation caused from the coronavirus that we have a market shift strongly to the e-commerce segment, pure players. So for us, it's very important that we are aware of Amazon, of course, of Otto, and many others of pure player at the market. And GOMINGA is one of our cooperations for 6 years now, or since 6 years now, and we're really happy to have them because they help us in terms of monitoring reviews and questions and all of these channels, and put them in a priority and help us to engage the consumer in a quick way. That's quite important. And at the end, we do analyze all the data we get and try to get the learnings out of the actions we did, and to perform and to do it better for the next year. So that's just a short sum up of what we do with GOMINGA. And yeah, unfortunately, Christian, you have to do now the details on the slides. Thank you all for you for participation, and Christian, it's your turn now. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
So yes, so you heard from Holger himself. So I'm just quickly going to add. Unfortunately, he cannot participate, as said, to explain to you exactly what they do and how they use our review management tool. But here, these are again the brands from BSH, home appliances. They use our tool for various platforms. So in Germany, for Amazon, Conrad, Galaxus, and Otto. And they do the analytics and the response with us to really learn about the customer feedback and to engage with the consumer. So if we go on one more slide, please. So as Holger said in the short video, they analyze all the reviews. They use both quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. So qualitative is obviously then our aspect-based sentiment part, which I explained earlier. They use email alerts, and they actually do look at their competitors as well. So that's in a nutshell what they do. And as you've seen, Holger, he's like a marketing guy. So they use the customer feedback to improve, for example, the product detail pages, which obviously has a big SEO impact. And there are a lot of quick wins in that area because we learn so much from the consumer feedback that, you know, the video is not detailed enough, or the description and text and pictures are not clear, etc. So these are always really quick wins, but they also use the analytics side for product design and product functionality. And also here, just a screenshot on the right-hand side, they use the ticket management system, obviously, to respond to all the negative reviews and also to the questions. And they analyze also this, the ticket system then to see at the end of the month, okay, how many negative complaints did they have about whatever coffee machine, grinder, or whatever it is, according to the products. And then they can improve the product development accordingly again. So that is always important for the online reputation, and especially for BSH. I mean, they're a premium brand, so they also want to have that premium customer service at the digital point of sale. So that's why they say, hey, Amazon obviously is most important because it's always the biggest platform with the most visitors. But they also look at, for example, Otto and Conrad and Galaxus, the others, because they say, hey, the consumer is out there. They look at the brands, they look at their products, and they really use this to improve the brand value. Which, as we saw during the presentation of the study from Territory Influence, it has an impact not only on online sales, but also on offline sales, which is obviously very important for BSH. So to sum it up, speaking for Holger here, 2 examples of BSH success stories. Similar here, the customer has a question like, how does it work? How do I use this? Does this fit on my machine? And then the customer care service from BSH, they reply in a timely manner. They explain it. They highlight that the response comes from the brand. And again, the customer says, hey, thank you, that saves me from making a bad buy. So this is really what it is all about. It's about reputation management. It's about premium customer service. And here, similar again, an example of BSH for a negative review. So the customer complains, says, hey, the water out of this water boiler machine it tastes strange. And again, the customer care team says, hey, thanks for your feedback, blah, blah, blah. The consumer reacts and changes the star rating. So these are just more examples here from the BSH testimonial that underline how important it is to engage with the consumer to improve your online reputation by managing reviews and questions.
Great, thanks a lot, Christian, for this. Let's quickly summarize what you need to remember about online ratings and reviews. With consumers increasingly spending time online due to the pandemic and increasingly shopping online, I think one of the key conclusions is that ratings and reviews become even more important. The vast majority of consumers is checking reviews online, even during promotional sales. And they look for ratings and reviews not only in e-commerce, but also on social media and comparison websites. And if you look at the recommendations for marketing, brands really need to proactively manage their online reputation. They need to develop a ratings and review strategy as part of their overall digital and e-commerce strategy. Brands want to target around at least 4 out of 5 stars rating and around 50 to 80 reviews on their most critical e-commerce platforms to secure visibility and secure strong conversion to sales. And there are very different ways to boost reviews and to generate high quality reviews. As Delphine has explained, you can activate your CRM members. You can actually reach out in a automated or semi-automated way to people who have actually bought your product or services, or you can use influencers, particularly the unpaid nano influencers, to generate high quality ratings and reviews on your desired platforms. And once you've generated them, don't forget to actually analyze them. And Gominga presented really great tools and case studies on how to analyze reviews, how to gain valuable insights, and most importantly, how to engage with those customers that are not happy with your product or service, and really respond to them and therefore turn around their impression and create a happy customer. So a lot of things to do and a lot of things to pay attention to. And I'm sure you have lots of questions. So now I think it's the time for questions.
Yes, we do have one question published on the Q&A chat. So maybe Rafael and Christian, you can share your opinion. It's about B2B versus B2C. So are reviews equally important in a B2B environment as they are in a B2C environment? So what are your thoughts?
It's a good question. I read actually an article the other week that looked at B2B reviews being even more important than B2C. It's just that the channels and the outlets for sharing those reviews are very different, because in a B2B context, you have a much more, close circle of buyers. They are very well connected typically within each other. They are looking more at, professional forums and closed rooms, both online as well as offline. If you think about fairs and congresses, to exchange their recommendations and exchange their experiences that they made with B2B suppliers. But overall, the fact that people are looking at other people's opinions and other people's experiences with services and products is valid for both B2C and B2B context. Christian, anything to add?
Yes, I can just add to that. I mean, I fully agree what you just said for those, as you said, often closed circles in B2B. On the other hand, what I find interesting, again, if you look at Amazon business, I think within the corporation, if you are the buyer for anything that you can actually buy on Amazon Business, you will have the same consumer behavior as doing a personal purchase. So if you look at Amazon Business, and if you have a star rating for your office furniture, for example, yes, I strongly believe that ratings are equally important. Any other questions?
Yes, we do. So we have one question regarding trust, a very important topic. So what can we do to increase trust in official brand websites reviews in general?
Well, I would say, I mean, including and integrating user-generated content, such as reviews, into your brand website is super important these days, where consumers in general distrust brands and distrust, institutions. So I think that's the first place to start with, is actually have a website that includes user-generated content, that pushes and leverages user-generated content.
Mm-hmm. There is one question regarding negative reviews. Maybe that's for you, Christian. What about the negative reviews that can't be redeemed by offering apologies or discounts?
I was just going to add to the first question, and for this second question as well, it is so important to have and to allow negative reviews, because only if you have negative reviews, customers will trust you. If you only have positive reviews, nobody will believe, because no product or service is perfect. And users want to see both sides. They want to see what's good, but they also want to read what do people not like about their product or service. So from your own web shop or for your own web shop, I would always recommend, if you have the functionality for reviews and ratings, you must allow negative reviews. You cannot filter or delete them. You must have negative reviews. And the same, if there is a negative review on Amazon for your product or services, or Google or anywhere else, do say sorry to the consumer. Say, hey, sorry, thanks for your feedback. Leave it as it is, because this will only increase the trust, because it's authentic. Deal with it. Take it internally, talk to your product guys, etc. Improve your product or service.
Thanks, Christian. There is another question. What is the main difference between having a rating and review strategy in-house versus creating it with a partner? So what does an agency or partner can bring to a brand company? Maybe Rafael, about generation, you have something.
Yeah, very happy. I think, I mean, the main question is about the scale of your operations. I mean, if you're talking about, one or two reviews, I mean, that's certainly something that, any brand marketing team can manage themselves. But if, you're talking about multiple platforms, and hundreds of reviews for hundreds of different SKUs, I mean, that's something where the scale of the operation will simply overwhelm your in-house teams. And then also, I think, Christian, you will agree that also the monitoring element with such a large number of content pieces becomes simply too much to manage on a manual basis. So you will need tools like the one Gominga is providing to you to actually keep track of and monitor your ratings and reviews online.
Yes, I mean, when it comes to a software decision, that's exactly it. If you only have 5 SKUs and you only sell on one platform, do it by hand. Yeah, do it manually if you don't need a software. But if you have a lot of products and if you sell on many platforms in many countries, then software solutions as our Gominga Review Manager obviously makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe also adding, I mean, definitely think about how you want to proactively generate reviews in the first place. So if you don't have an established, product portfolios that organically over years has accumulated, enough positive reviews, but if you are launching a new brand or if you're launching a new SKUs, you will start from zero. So I think also for that, use case, you want to reach out to an agency partner to make sure that your launch is off to a great start in e-commerce and in online visibility, and not just wait and hope for consumers to organically respond. Back to you, Delphine.
Yes, there is one question regarding leverage. So what do you suggest when and how can a brand leverage the fact that a lot of consumers read reviews before discount events like Black Friday, BF, from review management point of view? So this is maybe more for Christian for review management.
I mean, I can point out the study that we cited earlier from Simon Kutscher, and our own experience obviously is if you have a lot of reviews before any big event like Black Friday, like Christmas season, if you have a lot of reviews and if you have a lot of positive reviews, then that allows you to keep the price point fairly high. If you have negative reviews and for a product, for example, a star rating of 3.3 or whatever, so that is relatively negative, then from our experience, you need to reduce the price to ensure that this product sells. So we really see there is a big correlation between number of reviews and star rating versus the product price. So before any such event like Black Friday, to come back to your question, yes, I mean, analyze your ratings and reviews, have a look at your sales figures, obviously, and then you need to decide if you need to have a big sales, big price reduction, or if you can just have like whatever, 5%, 10% to have higher margins in the end, because I mean, that's what you want. You don't need to discount a product if it's selling well and if you have great reviews.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, worthwhile to really consider how to get to a sufficient rates, reviews, quantity and quality before you actually get to these events. Because I mean, what's the point in driving a lot of traffic to e-commerce stores when then the conversion is really poor because people immediately see you have a bad rating? A lot of people are not satisfied with the product, so you're losing all that traffic that has cost you a lot of money to build up. So certainly even more important for those big shopping events like Amazon Prime Day and Black Friday, to make sure that you are checking your reviews before, and that you have a strategy in place to make sure that you have sufficient quantity and quality of reviews online.
And to maybe also to say, don't forget, it's not only about sales on that day, on revenues, it's about your brand. Because as Raphael says, there will be a lot of traffic, more traffic than on any normal day or week. So make good use of that traffic, and not only sales, but also for your brand and your reputation.
Thanks, Raphael, and thanks, Christian. We still had a couple of other questions, but I think we are lacking some minutes. So I would suggest everyone to contact us if you want to have further information. Here are the contacts of Rafael and Christian. So if you want to manage reviews, or generate reviews, you can email us, phone us. We are here to address your brand case, so do not hesitate. We will be sharing the replay and the PDF to share some more insights, so you will get the complete survey plus our case studies, also the video from Holger. If you want to have more testimonials, more case studies, really do not hesitate to contact us. And of course, we will follow up in one-to-one for the remaining questions that are in the Q&A. Again, thanks everyone for your participation. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for your time. We were super glad to present you the power of ratings and reviews today. Have a lovely end of the day for Europe, maybe rest of the day for US and other countries' markets. And also, please do follow us on LinkedIn. We have webinars every 2 months, so plenty of other topics to come and follow. Yeah, so have a lovely rest of the day. Keep in touch. Talk to you very soon. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Be in touch.
Thank you. Bye-bye.